think on the side of the bottom half of the table, they've got to fix what's broken.
Yarnan with a double kill, turns onto Freeze. He wants to join the kill party. 4 members of the Wolves are down.
We always do a lot of bad moves that we shouldn't. That's something we need to fix, and that's probably something we need to focus a lot more on.
Vander realizes too late that it's going to be a huge amount of trouble. Tempered Fate gets thrown down right in the middle as Rocket are scattered to the wind.
I just feel like we have to find what's suiting us, what we are comfortable with, instead of adapting to what others play.
Well, Enraged is going to get focused down. Double kill for Werlim, and it will be a double kill for Frederick as well after SK started the fight.
We obviously have to work like much harsher than what we're doing now.
Joel's coming, but the fight may already be over. Tabs, Dexter, Froggen, they are all down!
Gentlemen, and welcome to the LCS studios in Berlin, Germany, where we're entering the home stretch leading to the summer playoffs. As you can see, all seats in the house are filled with our excited fans. Just a minute ago, they were getting ready for the show, and they're with some graggy ice, getting excited, and they're the Unicorns of Love, signing the hat of the most loved champion in the league. Timo, I'm sure anyone could echo that. And they're Fnatic chilling a bit before their game, talking to each other, and their coach in the couches here right outside. They need to be relaxed before they go into their first game of the day versus Gambit Gaming, who are setting up their Cabo Shard in the middle of your screen, looking to make something happen and put up a battle versus Fnatic. I'm Eefje Sjogge here with European Challenger Series caster James Stress O'Leary and #1 Bard fanboy EU, Mitch Kreppel-Voorspoels, as we embarked on the back half of the 2015 summer split. And well, look, oh God, well, we're going to do that again. Let's look at where the teams stand with only 9 games left to play in the regular season, because it is quite exciting at the top of the tables, unchanged, but a little bit more shine to their #1 spot, in my opinion. Fnatic showing that they are truly the best of the best.
Yeah, Fnatic just fantastic play so far, and they've done it in a fashion that indicates that they don't have any plans of stopping real soon. And right now, nothing is stopping or preventing Fnatic from going 18-0, and that would be a first in Europe. Obviously, still 9 games to go, but they've looked so dominant.
Definitely. H2K and OG are also in that top 3, but H2K, a thing or two to think about after that game versus Fnatic. And then the middle of the table, yesterday we were said clear 3 and then 7 at the bottom. But there are a couple of teams in the middle of the table that are definitely having them eyes on that playoff spot.
Yeah, Giants and the Unicorns are now looking for that slightly more reliable playoff spot, not having to fight for it later into the season. So they're kind of fighting for that 4th, 5th spot in the standing. So I'm interested to see how those two teams are going to progress through the next coming weeks.
Yeah, and then at the bottom of the table, yesterday, Elements versus SK. It wasn't the best match we've ever seen, but for Elements, that definitely must be a step in the right direction for them, getting that win even though it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, obviously the bottom 5 teams, or bottom 7 teams, as we said yesterday, are obviously relatively close in the standing. So yes, the win wasn't pretty. Yes, SK could have won a game, but it matters a lot for Elements, not only for their standings, also for their motivation and just being able to claw your way back into the top 6 for the playoffs. And that's what a lot of these teams want right now.
Yeah, definitely. As we look at the games that are coming up for us today, our very first game of the day is Fnatic coming up versus Gambit. As said, we have Roccat versus the Unicorns of Love, Copenhagen Wolves versus OG, and closing out the day with H2K versus SK Gaming. That will be our last game of the day and also of the week. Of course, if you want a full eye on the schedule, head over to lolesports.com as we close in on the playoffs and get all your info, the stats, the standings from pro leagues around the globe, and keep tabs on the competition as we close in on the 2015 World Championship, getting closer and closer, and it's going to be right here in Europe. Super exciting. And with rematches on the horizon, we want to know who you think deserves a second chance. Tweet at LOL Esports and let us know which team do you think will have a late season surge in the standings and why. Gentlemen?
Well, I think for me, it may be a little too early to tell whether it's a surge as such, but I think Roccat looked a lot smoother in yesterday's game. Granted, they still have a lot of issues to fix, but I'm kind of quietly confident that Roccat may be able to start putting a couple more wins on the board.
Hey, they're on a 1-game win streak right now.
Well, yeah.
Super.
Now, I honestly don't see any clear candidate for that mid-season surge, but I just want to compliment a team that actually surged already. Giants coming into the season, they were guaranteed relegation candidate almost, and they've just had this steady progression. They've almost nailed the fundamentals, the basics in my opinion, and they've also finally found an identity that's not around Pepinero carrying. They have this double poke composition with double tier, and the way they stay in the early game is mostly due to Whirlip on that split push with Shyvana, with Jackson, maybe with another champion if they both get banned out later. So I like what the Giants are doing, and it's phenomenal that they're this high in standings, and honestly, nobody expected that.
Definitely good for them, doing a lot better than last split and maybe a big contender for the playoff spot. For now, though, it is time to focus in on today's very first game between the long-standing organizations of the LCS, Fnatic and Gambit Gaming. Let's start by taking a look at that lineup for Fnatic. Still undefeated, Huni, Reignover, Febiven, Reckless, Yellow Star, and their coach, Daylor. En route to 18-0, possibly, but this team could, well, play the spoiler, and they've done that before. Gambit Gaming within the top lane, Cabo Shard jungling Diamond Prox, Betsy, Forgiven, Gosu Pepper, and their coach, Shans. Well, as said, the difference between these two teams couldn't be bigger at the moment because Fnatic is on an absolute tear. So the question is for me, what can Gambit do to neutralize most of the threats coming out of Gambit?
I think it's very difficult to look for a single area for Gambit to focus on Fnatic because Fnatic is just such a well-rounded team. The converse to that point, though, is that Fnatic are very good at finding a single weakness in the enemy team and exploiting it. We saw it yesterday against Odoamne and H2K, completely freezing him out of the game. In today's game, I expect them to put a lot of pressure onto Diamond Prox. The junglers, Reignover and Diamond Prox, are so different when it comes to where they're needed on the map, and you can really see that when it comes to their playstyle and their kill participation. Reignover is free to go to any lane ever and just kind of do what he wants, counter jungle at the same time, whereas Diamond Prox, he's needed in so many of his lanes in different situations that he's actually only able to get into a few small skirmish situations, and it means he has a lower kill participation overall.
We're all a little tongue-tied today. We still got to warm up.
Yeah, we still got to get into the thing of things. But honestly, in my opinion, Reignover is just a better version of Diamond Prox right now. In every area, he excels. And while that matchup might be interesting to watch, what worries me the most is the draft, especially for Gambit here. Yesterday, they picked the Corki, leaving the Kalista open. They went for the blind pick Nidalee, while both tier 1 jungles were open. I'm okay if you want to play Nidalee, but you know, you don't have to rush it. You know your opponents are going to pick a tier 1 jungle anyways. Why pick it blind? And it just, they pick those champions, and that's okay. You can go off meta in my opinion, but then at least play to your strengths, play to your power spikes, and make something happen. Gambit ended that game with only 3 kills, I believe. So very, very poor performance, and I'm not quite sure if it's on Shans if he wants these monkey drafts. I doubt it. I feel like it's more the Gambit players sticking to these unique picks, and yeah, it has worked in the past, but it's not working anymore.
And they will definitely have to have a strong draft, as said, up against Fnatic. Yesterday, we were all looking at the game versus H2K, kind of saying if they have a big margin in beating H2K, Fnatic will look to be unbeatable. And even in the lane swaps, they did very good.
Yeah, I mean, look at the stat on your screen. 1.3k gold up at 10 minutes in a lane swap against H2K. While that may not seem impressive, if you don't know what the actual stat for lane swaps for H2K was, they were up, I believe, over 2,500 gold at 10 minutes in their lane swaps on average. So HTK was the best lane swapping team in Europe, and Fnatic crushed them.
Yeah, Fnatic played and beat H2K at their own game in yesterday's game. But at this point, we talked a little bit earlier about how Gambit have played spoiler before. Yeah. Funny things happen when you put the pressure on Gambit. They suddenly can turn up out of nowhere, so you can never go into game underestimating Gambit.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of times now we've underestimated Gambit, and they've came up with a crazy winning streak or beating a top team, so we will see. And as we kick it over to the caster desk for Game 1, we'll hear from Gosu Pepper on Gambit's odds against a dominant Fnatic.
We already, I think, showed week 2 we played against Fnatic. I think we did the biggest fight against them, and even after games they came to us and said like we played really good and they didn't expect us to like do such a fight for the game. And I think for week 4 they're gonna prepare for super hard for us, because they know that if they slack a bit and play not 100% or even not 90%, they'll most likely lose.
Well, there you go. If Fnatic don't bring 100%, maybe Gambit will be picking up a win. We'll find out shortly. I'm Quick Shot.